Hello there and welcome to yet another edition of the Lagos Transportation Agenda. As you know, this is the show in which we highlight current events, explore topical issues, as well as showcase emerging trends in the dynamic and multi-dimensional world of transportation. My name is Austin Iyan. The truth is that even though the Lagos State government has made giant strides in actualizing its integrated and multimodal transportation system as a component of its TEAMS agenda and the Greater Lagos Initiative of the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu-led administration, more and more people in Lagos are still traveling by road, and they will continue to do so in the foreseeable future. To that end, the government continues to make robust investments in road transport infrastructure and management. Among the key agencies central to government's objective in this regard is the Lagos Bus Services Limited, whose stated mission is to provide smart and sustainable bus transport solutions to meet the needs of a modern city. How exactly does the Lagos Bus Services Limited do this? To discuss this and other issues, the operations of the LBSL and its business model, I have with me in the studio the organization's Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Idowu Oguntona. Mr. Oguntona, it's always a privilege to have you on the show.
It's always a pleasure to also have you, Austin.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Oguntona and I will be discussing the transformation of public transport and emerging trends in mass transit, which is the forte of the Lagos Bus Services Limited, on the show today after the Lagos Transportation Agenda returns. Please stay with us.
Great economies are built on good transportation network. This is why Lagos State Government through LAMATA has been working tirelessly to enhance the state's transport infrastructure and implement the Strategic Transport Master Plan (STMP) for Lagos and create a world-class transport network for the metropolis. The STMP would deliver 6 rail lines, 1 monorail, 14 BRT routes, 26 water transport routes, 3 cable car routes, and several road interventions to promote the integration of the transport modes. When all these projects are completed, there will be lower emission, leading to better health for all, lower road crashes, better quality of life, and faster economic growth. With the BRT already running in some corridors, jetties being upgraded, and rail line from Okokomaiko to CMS coming on board soon, life of Lagosians in the face of Lagos is changing every day. A healthier and more prosperous Lagos is in the making, and LAMATA is driving it. LAMATA, keeping Lagos moving.
Welcome back on the Lagos Transportation Agenda. As I said in my introduction, I have Mr. Idowu Oguntona, the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Lagos Bus Services Limited. Mr. Oguntona, let me start by taking you up on your mission. You say, your mission statement, you say that you provide smart and sustainable solutions, bus transport solutions. How exactly do you do that? When you say smart, when you say sustainable, what do you mean? What are you doing differently?
Thank you very much. So just as the mission says, our mission is to provide smart and sustainable public transport solutions. When you're talking about smartness, you're talking about leveraging technology,
okay,
right? To give people options to be able to use public transportation in such a way that it's going to be efficient, basically. And within that mandate, if you look at the smartness of the kind of solutions we provide, it will start from the kind of assets that we currently deploy.
Yeah.
The current kind of assets that we deploy are assets that are in line with international standards. They have all the requirements from being disabled people compliant.
Okay.
In other words, people that are living with disability can actually access the bus, with the aid of a wheelchair and a ramp.
Okay.
And we also have dedicated areas where people can actually put their wheelchair and be securely put on the bus. The bus also has so many features. For example, there are charging ports, right? They are air conditioned. People have buzzers that they can press when they need to disembark from the bus. Okay. Also, we're leveraging technology with the way that we are planning and deploying our operations.
Okay.
And I'm sure that you will also understand that the Lagos State government, through Lamata, is implementing an intelligent transport solution, which essentially will help you to basically automate and integrate all the value chain within our service deployment operations. All right. So we're leveraging technology as best as we can, and we're benchmarking ourselves against international best practice. The sustainability part of it is more around the longevity and the impact on the environment. All right. You will agree with me that the environment, the sustainability of the environment is a major consideration and a major concern, for now, right? So we're talking about using buses that have greener energy, right? That have less greenhouse gas emissions.
Okay.
All right. So our mission essentially is to ensure that our operation is friendly on the environment. All right. So to that extent, we are a sustainable organization at the end of the day. And of course, we've got our own ESG strategies as well that we're developing to align with our mission as a company. Yes.
All right. I like the fact that you talk about helping disabled people to make it have greater access to your services, as well as your concern for the environment and all that.
Yes.
Before I go further, what can you say about the, what do you call it, the CGN now? The plan, I guess, as part of the master plan. So I think it's a part of the master plan.
Yes.
To make sure that we have renewable energy, transition. What is the update on that?
Thank you very much. And I believe that for as anybody that has lived in Nigeria in particular over the last 6 months or thereabout will be aware of the PICNG, which is the Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas.
Yes.
Right, and that initiative essentially is from the Office of the President.
Yes.
And the plan is to leverage the natural resources of gas, right, to power public transport, to power industry, to power businesses and households. All right. So an element within that PICNG is the deployment of CNG buses.
Yes.
And by CNG buses, you are talking about buses that are operated on compressed natural gas.
Yes.
So when you compare a compressed natural gas bus with a diesel bus, you'll find out that there are less carbon emissions from those kind of buses.
Yes, and let's talk about penetration. There are so many transport modes in Lagos.
Yes.
I'm talking about road transport modes in
Correct.
Lagos. You have downfall buses,
Yes.
all sorts of buses. And now, your own unique services where you offer all these ultra modern,
Correct.
advantages.
Right.
What's the penetration as we speak?
It's very high, driven by so many factors. First is the affordability, right? Yes. And of course, the predictability as well. So speaking specifically to affordability, our service is at least 70% cheaper than the unregulated service provider. And I'll give you a simple analysis. If you're running a service from Oshodi, which is just across the road, all the way to Ajah, our price point effectively is 600 naira, right? And that 600 naira is because the governor Mr. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has introduced a 25% subsidy for our commuters. So this price point itself is 800 naira, right? If you factor in the 25%, effectively commuters are paying just 600 naira versus what the informal guys are charging, which is around 2,000 naira, depending on what time of the day and all of that. So you find out that if you do that analysis, there's effectively a 70% savings, right, in the pricing of our own service, right? So we are seeing the statistics, we are seeing the data that has been such a huge surge of patronage. The demand has significantly increased. At the time, we're deploying just about 50 buses across just 5 routes, right? So speaking to your question around the penetration, with the support of the governor, our scale of operation has increased to about 300 buses, right? And in terms of our route coverage, we've moved from just that 5 to about 19, right? So that shows that we are penetrating, we're increasing, and the ultimate goal is to ensure that across the whole metropolis, you will have, our service. So I can say for a fact that there's been very increased penetration and adoption of our service within Lagos State.
All right, so we'll continue the conversation with Mr. Idowu Oguntona, MD, CEO of the Lagos Bus Services Limited, on the program when the Lagos Transportation Agenda returns after this time out.
Akété ilé ọgbọ́n, Èkó akété ilé ọgbọ́n, arọ́mọdé dẹ́kọ̀ máma já o, Èkó arọ́mísà lẹ́gbẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́, arọ́mọdé dẹ́kọ̀ máma sá o, Èkó arọ́mísà lẹ́gbẹ́lẹ́gbẹ́.
If you're just joining, it's the Lagos Transportation Agenda, and today on the show we are discussing the role of the Lagos Bus Services Limited in the transformation of public transportation, with our emphasis on mass transit. Mr. Idowu Oguntona has been my guest, and Mr. Oguntona, let's look inward a bit.
Yeah.
For any organization to be relevant and to be able to adapt to the times, we talked a bit about leveraging technology, but the human component too is quite important. So tell me about how much the development of human capacity in your organization is a part of your operation and business model.
Thank you very much. So it goes without saying that the most critical asset within this business or this industry is a human capital. If you make all the investment in infrastructure and you don't have the right workforce with the right skill sets, the right capabilities, at the end of the day, your output is not going to be what you desire. One of the things we've also done very early in the life of the company, right, to develop human capacity is to set up a bus driver training school. So we've got an academy that's fully licensed, all right, where we train and continue to retrain our captains. That's our drivers that operate the bus.
Now, one of the things I think that the Lagos State government prides itself in is the interwoven nature of the work that its agencies do, the synergy that they share.
Correct.
Especially when it comes to this area of transportation.
Absolutely.
It's such a fabric, if you like. Absolutely. Now, in the case of the Lagos Bus Services Limited, what particular synergy, if any, do you have with other agencies, and how has it enhanced your ability to, fulfill your mandate?
So thank you very much. At the core of our corporate value is collaboration. We reckon that there is so much we can do if we do not collaborate with our stakeholders. And of course, the person at the driving seat, driving all of us, is the governor and his strategic priority, which is a themes plus agenda, right? So we all derive our strategic mandates and roles from that core strategic priorities of the governor, all right? And in delivering to that themes agenda, there's no way that we can deliver our mandate on our own. So for example, we fall squarely within the traffic management and transportation pillar. And for us to be able to achieve or align with the ultimate outcomes of traffic management and transportation, we need to align with other agencies, departments, and ministries. So, for example, LAMATA. LAMATA is the authority within the transport space, right? LAMATA is the regulator. So, part of the things we've done is to fully align with LAMATA, right? Even in the automation of collection through the Cowrie platform,
yes,
which is an automated ticketing platform, basically. So today, if anybody's going to use our service, nobody's going to have to pay cash. So for all the commuters that want to get on our service, they have to use the Cowrie platform.
yes.
And that has only been able to happen because we are aligned with LAMATA. We are collaborating effectively with LAMATA. Also, we are currently trialing, we're running a proof of concept with an electric bus, right? And that is done in collaboration with LAMATA. That is also playing to the sustainability goals and agenda of the state, right? So we're collaborating effectively with LAMATA on that front as well. LASMA, responsible for traffic management. We've got a very cordial relationship and collaboration with them, to the point that they help in granting us, smooth access across the roads. And at times when there are breakdown, we reach out to them and they help us to quickly see how they can free the road for us to move effectively. Also, there's a safety commission as well. One of the core value propositions that we have as a public transport company is safety, right? And so there's no way we can deliver on our safety objective if we do not collaborate with the agency that is responsible for driving safety within Lagos State. So we also do collaborate with the Safety Commission as well. So we effectively and on a continual basis continue to collaborate with agencies and ministry, and of course even our parent ministry, which is the Ministry of Transportation, as far as the policy that guides our activities, our actions, our decisions are concerned.
You are an agency of government, and as you have clearly elaborated, you operate within certain parameters, policy parameters, guidelines, and so on and so forth. But you also, as an organization, you operate in an environment we will call Lagos being the hub of commercial activities, not just in Nigeria, but also across the West African sub-region, which means that the private sector is a key player here, much more so than perhaps any other place in Nigeria. Okay, so you are an agency of Lagos State, but you are based in a city which it's trending towards becoming a world-class business hub.
Correct.
So what is the level of synergy, still on the issue of synergy with the private sector? What do you envisage will be the role of the private sector in actualizing this whole policy objectives that you have, as an agency?
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So part of the things that we've done, for example, so I'll go back to the automation of the collection system, right? That collection platform was built by a young, homegrown private company, all right? So in areas where we've got to leverage the deployment and the use of technology, we actively engage with the private sector, all right? Also, of course, when it comes to some sort of collaboration from it, I'll give you another example. So for example, with the electric vehicle buses that we are currently piloting, it is in collaboration with a private company, and in this case, Orlando Clean Energy, right? Because they operate within that state, within that space. They've come up to say, okay, we are trying to drive the adoption of clean energy in Lagos and in Nigeria as a whole, and seeing that public transport, is also an avenue where there can be, offtake of clean energy. So they've come to the table to say, all right, why not let's collaborate? All right, ultimately, you using clean energy helps us to fulfill our own corporate objective. And then on the other hand, we as a bus operating company, we are also able to deliver to our own objective, which is providing smart and sustainable public transport solution, which ultimately is even cost effective. So we continue to explore the private environment, this private space, and see areas where there are opportunities that we can actually leverage that ultimately will help us, to deliver on our own core mandates. So that's a space that we're also actively engaging.
Okay, last word from you, sir. Of course, the end users, which is the people that use our services, your services, are also stakeholders. What would you like the public to do to make your job easier?
Wow. Okay. So that's a very interesting question, particularly if you understand the scale of our operations.
Yes.
So on a daily basis, we interact with not less than 50,000 Lagosians, meaning that we help people, at least 50,000 people on a daily basis to move from point A to point B. But some of the challenges that we have is the fact that, everybody in Lagos is in a hurry. We need to get from point A to point B very quickly. And because of the scale of our operations, from time to time we do have, incidents where, people are at the station and the bus is held in traffic on its way back. And people get a bit impatient, which is understandable, all right? I want to get to where I'm going very quickly, But the appeal is, we are all in this together. We are all committed to a better and greater Lagos. And in all honesty, this administration of Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu has invested tremendously in public transportation, from the blue line to the red line, to all the terminals, the jetties that are being developed, and that is huge resources. The only way we can take full advantage of this is if we manage these assets very properly. So my appeal will be, let's embrace a sense of ownership. And if there are instances where people have challenges at our stations or whatever challenges, we've got platforms where they can reach us. All right, so we encourage feedback, all right, either through any of our digital platforms, all right, on Facebook, which is Lagos Bus Services Limited, all right, or on LinkedIn at Lagos Bus Services Limited, all right, Instagram at LBSL NG, on Twitter, which is X now, also at LBSL NG, all right, or you want to call us, you can call us at 080 90-355 LBSL, all right, or you want to send us an email, info@lbsl.ng. So I'd really love to thank our committed and loyal commuters over the last 5 years. It's been 5 years of serving you. You've made our job very exciting. We are here because you're there taking advantage of our service. So on behalf of myself and my team of management and staff, we'd like to say a big thank you for using our service. So please take ownership of these assets. They are yours, and let's work for the good of greater Lagos. God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Well said, Mr. MD, and it's on that note that we end the show today. Thank you for watching. I hope you join me at this time next week on this channel for yet another interesting discourse in the continuing and interesting story of modern transportation in Lagos and in Nigeria and beyond. Until then, this is your host, Austin Inyan, saying stay safe. It's not what you drive, as I always say, it's what drives you. Be safety conscious. Bye-bye. God bless.